alive again. That's the kind of power that we have as the people of God. All we have to do is change our perspective, and immediately the things we look at begin to change. The sickness now turns to an opportunity for God to heal. Look at somebody and tell them, you don't have an obstacle. What you have is an opportunity. It's an opportunity for God to prove to you that he's just as great now as he's always been. But you've got to have the faith to believe it. Hebrews 11:6 tells us that without faith, it is impossible to please the Lord. But I'm just determined, and I've made up in my mind that in spite of what I see, in spite of what the enemy tries to tell me, I will believe God. And if he says that we are well able to possess the land, if he says that we're well able to do what he's called us to do, then I will just change my perspective. I'm going to change the way I see my situation, change the way I see my circumstance, and move out on faith and believe that if I have to fight, then God will give me the victory. I believe that if I have to go into battle, God will help me to win. Is there anybody here that knows God will show up on your behalf? He'll help you win every battle. He'll help you defeat every enemy. But you got to change your perspective. You got to change your outlook. You got to change the way you see your circumstance. Do you see it as a problem? Or do you see it as a possibility? Do you see it as impossible? Or do you see it as possible? Look at somebody and tell them, I've got a new perspective. I've got a new attitude. I've got a new mindset. And my mindset is I can do all things through Christ that gives me strength. Come on, devil. Bring your best shot. Because I believe my perspective is that no weapon formed against me shall be able to prosper. My perspective is that he's able to do exceedingly and abundantly above all that I can ask or think. My perspective is that if I don't get weary in well-doing, I'll reap if I faint not. My perspective is that he who made the promise is also well able to perform. Is there anybody here ready to change your perspective? Ready to change your outlook? Ready to change the way you see your situation? Look at your neighbor and say, you're not defeated, but you are victorious. As a matter of fact, you're more than a conqueror. Come on and tell somebody you're more than a conqueror. So walk like a conqueror. Talk like a conqueror. Act like a conqueror. Believe like a conqueror. Give God the praise like it's already done. Because our perspective has changed. And what used to be a hard thing is now easy work. Because God told Jeremiah, behold, I am the God of all flesh. There is nothing too hard for me. And if it's not too hard for him, it's not too hard for me. Because the same God who made the promise has deposited his power within me. For you shall receive power. Somebody shout power. You shall receive power. After that, the Holy Ghost has come upon you. What do you have power to do? You've got power to overcome. You've got power to defeat the enemy. You've got power to speak those things that are not as though they already are. Look at somebody and say, I have a new perspective. I've got a different perspective. Because where I used to give up, now I just keep going. I've got a new perspective. Because where I used to give in, now I get stronger along the way. I got a new perspective. Because what used to hurt me, what used to harm me, now just feeds me. So I don't worry about tomorrow. I don't worry about what may come. All I do is depend on him. Trust in the Lord with all thy heart. Lean not to your own understanding, but in all your ways acknowledge him, and he will. Oh, sheep of his pasture, and we can have everything. Look at somebody and tell them, I want everything that God says I can have. I'm not leaving anything on the table. I'm not leaving any blessing unrealized. I'm not leaving any promise unmanifested. But I want everything. Can I get somebody to help me shout everything? I want everything that God says I can have. Is there anybody here that has a promise from the Lord? Is there anybody here that believes that he's able to work it out on your behalf? If you believe it, say yeah. Look at somebody and tell them my perspective has changed.